Good afternoon. This is All India Radio. I am Valsa Williams and with me is Abhishek Mukhopadhyay with the Midday News. The headlines. Super cyclone Amphan developing in Bay of Bengal, very likely to cross West Bengal and Bangladesh coasts tomorrow. NDRF teams deployed in coastal regions of West Bengal and Odisha for relief and rescue operations. Prime Minister Narendra Modi reviews response preparedness to deal with the storm. Home Minister Amit Shah offers centre's help to the affected states. Home Ministry asks states to coordinate with railways to ferry stranded migrant workers to their homes. Health Ministry issues guidelines to contain spread of COVID-19 in workplace. States and union territories announce guidelines for the fourth phase of lockdown, several concessions allowed to boost economic activity. And COVID-19 recovery rate reaches 38.73% in the country. ICMR scales up testing nationwide. The supercyclonic storm Amphan over west central Bay of Bengal moved north-northeastwards with a speed of 15 kilometres during the past 6 hours. It lies centred over west central Bay of Bengal, about 480 kilometres nearly south of Paradip in Odisha. The Indian Meteorological Department said it is very likely to move north-northeastwards across northwest Bay of Bengal and cross West Bengal Bangladesh coasts near Digha tomorrow with maximum sustained wind speed of 155 to 165 kilometres per hour, gusting to 185 kilometres per hour. Rainfall has commenced over coastal Odisha since the early hours today. The rainfall intensity is likely to increase gradually and become maximum from tonight till tomorrow afternoon. Coastal districts of Gangetic West Bengal are likely to experience light to moderate rainfall at many places commencing from today. Meanwhile, the National Disaster Response Force NDRF Director General S.N. Pradhan informed that in West Bengal 19 NDRF teams have been deployed and 4 teams are on standby, while in Odisha 13 NDRF teams are being deployed and 17 are on standby. He said these teams are helping in awareness drive, sensitization and evacuation. Prime Minister Narendra Modi yesterday chaired a high-level meeting in New Delhi to review the response measures in view of Cyclone Amphan developing in the Bay of Bengal. Mr. Modi has directed that all necessary measures be taken for complete evacuation of people from areas lying in the path of the cyclone Amphan and maintain adequate quantities of essential supplies. He took stock of the situation and reviewed the response preparedness as well as the evacuation plan presented by the NDRF. Later, Mr. Modi in a tweet assured all possible support from the central government to the states likely to be hit by the cyclone. The Indian Coast Guard and Navy have deployed ships and helicopters for relief and rescue operations. Army and Air Force units in these states have also been put on standby. Home Minister Amit Shah today spoke to Chief Ministers of West Bengal and Odisha in view of Cyclone Amphan. Mr. Shah reviewed the preparedness and offered all requisite help. The Home Minister reiterated that the central government is ready to provide any support to both the affected states to deal with the situation. The supercyclonic storm Amphan is very likely to weaken to extremely severe cyclonic storm during the next 6 hours and make landfall as very severe cyclonic storm after further weakening. In view of Amphan, the Odisha government is taking every possible step for effective management of the situation arising out of the possible cyclone. A report.
A supercyclonic storm Amphan is likely to intensify into an extremely severe cyclonic storm. In view of impending cyclone, the 12 coastal districts of Odisha have been put on alert. State government has deputed 4 senior IS and 4 IPS officers to highly alerted districts Bhadrak, Baleshwar, Kendrapada and Jagatsinghpur to provide support and guidance to district administrations. The state government has also initiated the process of evacuating people from Kacha houses to the nearest cyclone shelters. NDRF, ODRAF and fire services team have been placed into action. Mobile health teams have also been organized for affected areas. The state government has advised the people to carry important documents while shifting to cyclone shelters. Itishri Singh Rathore, AIR News, Cuttack.
In Tamil Nadu, widespread destruction of banana crops has been reported from the Bay of Bengal coastal districts. This follows strong winds and rain that battered various districts like Trichy and Pudukkottai last night. Earlier, warning signs had been put up at the various ports in the area following prediction of Ompon cyclone in the Bay of Bengal. Farmers in the Pudukkottai district have claimed that about 100 acres of banana stalks have been destroyed. However, early official estimates indicate destruction of banana in about 35 acres centred around areas like Gandharvan Kottai and Arantangi. The Central Research of Institute for Banana Crops in Trichy will also be undertaking a study of the destruction of banana crops and to suggest ways and means to substantially reduce the loss suffered by farmers.
Health and Family Welfare Ministry said that a total 39,174 patients have been cured of coronavirus and the recovery rate reached to 38.73% in the country. In the last 24 hours, 2,350 patients have recovered and 4,970 fresh cases of COVID-19 have been reported, taking the total number of cases to 1,01,039. A total of 134 deaths have been registered in the last 24 hours, taking the nationwide toll to 3,163. A total of 500 new confirmed cases of novel coronavirus have been reported in Delhi during the last 24 hours, taking the total number of cases to 10,554. Delhi government has confirmed that 4,750 patients have been cured so far and the recovery rate reached to 45%. In the last 24 hours, 265 patients have recovered and 6 deaths have been reported in the national capital, taking the toll to 166. Coronavirus testing in India crossed the 1 lakh mark. Indian Council of Medical Research, ICMR, has said that a total of 1,01,475 samples of coronavirus were tested in the last 24 hours. The figure of the total number of tests reached to 24,04,267 in the country. Meanwhile, ICMR is continuously scaling up its testing facilities for COVID-19 by giving approval to government and private laboratories. As of now, 385 government laboratories and 158 private laboratories chains have been given approval to conduct the tests for COVID-19.
Several states and union territories have announced detailed guidelines for the fourth phase of the nationwide lockdown, which began yesterday. The Union Home Ministry on Sunday extended the lockdown for 14 more days till the 31st of this month. The nationwide lockdown, which began in March, has helped considerably in containing the spread of COVID-19. The fourth phase, however, has substantial relaxations from its previous versions. The centre has allowed states and union territories to demarcate red, orange and green zones. The Delhi government has allowed buses, cars, autos and e-rickshaws to ply across the national capital from today. Briefing reporters, Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal said government and private offices can open at full strength. He said no activities will be allowed in the containment zones except essential services. Mr. Kejriwal said stepping out of homes between 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. except for essential services will be prohibited in the city. He said that wearing masks and maintaining social distancing is mandatory for all. Marriages will be allowed with a maximum of 50 people and funerals will be allowed with a maximum of 20 people. The Union Health Ministry has issued guidelines on preventive measures to contain spread of COVID-19 in the workplace. Any staff reportedly suffering from flu-like illness should not attend office and should seek medical advice from local health authorities. Such persons, if diagnosed as a suspect or confirmed case of COVID-19, should immediately inform the office authorities. Any staff requesting home quarantine based on the containment zone activities in their residential areas should be permitted to work from home. When one or few persons who share a room or closed office space are found to be suffering from symptoms suggestive of COVID-19, the ill person must be placed in a room or area where they are isolated from others at the workplace. A mask or face cover must be provided till they are examined by a doctor. This must be reported to concerned central or state health authorities, and helpline 1075 should be immediately informed. A risk assessment will be undertaken by the designated public health authority and further advice shall be made regarding management of the case, the contacts and need for disinfection. The rapid response team of the district shall be requisitioned and will undertake the listing of contacts. The necessary actions for contact tracing and disinfection of workplace will start once the report of the patient is received as positive. The report will be expedited for this purpose. If there are large numbers of contacts from a pre-symptomatic or asymptomatic case, there could be a possibility of a cluster emerging in the workplace setting. If there are 1 or 2 cases reported, the disinfection procedure will be limited to places and areas visited by the patient in the past 48 hours. There is no need to close the entire office building or halt work in other areas of the office, and work can be resumed after disinfection. However, if there is a larger outbreak, the entire building will have to be closed for 48 hours after thorough disinfection. All the staff will work from home till the building is adequately disinfected and is declared fit for reoccupation.
Now onwards, beating at workplace will be punishable with fine. The Personnel Ministry, in an order issued to all central government departments, have asked their heads to ensure strict compliance of this and other directives in this regard. This order is likely to bring about changes in and around government and private workplaces. The order also said wearing face cover is compulsory in all public and workplaces. In additional directives from the workplaces, the ministry said, as far as possible, the practice from work from home should be followed. The directive also said all persons in charge of workplaces shall ensure social distancing through adequate distance between workers, adequate gaps between shifts, and staggering the lunch breaks of staff. The centre yesterday asked 50% of its junior employees below the level of deputy secretary to join work in office. Till now, only 33% of such employees were asked to attend office due to the novel coronavirus lockdown. Government has said that biometric attendance will continue to be suspended during the 4th phase of the lockdown. Ministry of Personnel, Public Grievances and Pensions has issued guidelines on regulation of attendance in government offices to contain the spread of coronavirus COVID-19. It said that all officers of the level of Deputy Secretary and above shall attend office on all working days. The ministry said for regulating the attendance of officers and staff below the level of Deputy Secretary, all heads of the department shall prepare a roster to ensure that 50% of officers and staff attend office on every alternate day. Those officers or staff who are not required to attend office on a particular day shall work from home and should be available on telephone and electronic means of communications at all times. The ministry said all heads of the department shall also ensure that the 50% officers and staff who attend office observe staggered timings. First shift 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m., second shift 9:30 a.m. to 6 p.m., and the third shift between 10 a.m. to 6:30 p.m.
The Union Home Ministry has issued revised Standard Operating Procedure SOP for the movement of stranded workers by train. According to the SOP, movement of Shramik special trains shall be permitted by Ministry of Railways in consultation with the Home Ministry. All states and union territories should designate nodal authorities and make necessary arrangements for receiving and sending such stranded persons. More from our correspondent.
The train schedules, including stoppages and destinations, will be finalized by the Railway Ministry based on the requirement of states and union territories. After finalizing, railways will communicate to states for making suitable arrangements for sending and receiving such stranded people. The SOP said that sending states and union territories and railways will ensure that all passengers are screened and only asymptomatic passengers are allowed to board the train. During boarding and travel, all passengers will have to observe social distancing. On arrival to their destination, the travelling passengers will have to adhere to the protocols prescribed by the destination states and union territories. With Dipendra Kumar, Suparna Sekya, AIR News, Delhi.
The Union Home Secretary has asked states to proactively coordinate with the Railway Ministry to help ferry the stranded migrant workers to their native places. In a letter written to Chief Secretaries of all states and union territories, Home Secretary Ajay Bhalla has suggested measures to mitigate the distress of migrant workers in the country. He said states should ensure arrangement of resting places with facilities of sanitation, food and health for all such workers who are on the move. Mr. Bhalla also emphasized that district authorities should guide such workers to the designated resting places, nearby bus terminal or railway stations by arranging transportation. He has asked states to prepare a list of the migrant workers with addresses and contact numbers which can be used later for contact tracing. Mr. Bhalla has urged NGOs to come forward in order to help the workers at the designated resting places. The Home Secretary said that measures should be taken to encourage more migrant workers to stay at these places. He said clear information should be provided regarding departure of trains and buses to avoid any kind of unrest amongst the workers. Mr. Bhalla made a special mention about extra care needed for meeting the specific requirements of women, children and the elderly amongst the migrant workers. Railway Minister Piyush Goyal has said that more than 20 lakh workers have been sent by the railways to their homes by 1,565 Shramik special trains. In a tweet today, he said Uttar Pradesh has allowed 837, Bihar 428 and Madhya Pradesh allowed 100 special trains for this purpose.
You were listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Super cyclone Amphan developing in Bay of Bengal, very likely to cross West Bengal and Bangladesh coast tomorrow. NDRF teams deployed in coastal regions of West Bengal and Odisha for relief and rescue operations. Prime Minister Narendra Modi reviews response preparedness to deal with the storm. Home Minister Amit Shah offers centre's help to the affected states. Home Ministry asks states to coordinate with the railways to ferry stranded migrant workers to their homes. Health Ministry issues guidelines to contain spread of COVID-19 in workplace. States and union territories announce guidelines for the fourth phase of lockdown. Several concessions allowed to boost economic activity. And the COVID-19 recovery rate reaches 38.73% in the country. ICMR scales up testing nationwide. For quick news updates around the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle @AIR News Alerts.
The Uttar Pradesh government has announced new guidelines to be followed in the state about the lockdown, which has been extended till the 31st of May. The new guidelines issued by Chief Secretary R.K. Tiwari permits all factories, industrial activities and shops to open except in red and containment zones. However, street vendors and hawkers have been permitted to function in the state. A report.
Section 144 will be enforced during night in state and no vehicle barring essential services will be allowed to move in night. As per the order, private vehicles have been permitted to move across the state. Two-wheelers with no person on the rear seat are allowed, though females can sit behind the two-wheeler driver. Four-wheelers and auto rickshaws have been permitted. Auto rickshaw can seat two people at a time, excluding the driver. Only two people have been allowed to sit in a four-wheeler apart from the driver. Only two children to get additional permission. As per the order, operation of interstate buses with the consent of the states will not be allowed at present. Marriage halls have been permitted but only with a gathering of not more than 20 persons. As per the guidelines, market in cities will open at different locations on different days. Decision for it will be taken at district level. The vegetable markets or mandis will be open for 3 hours from 4 am to 7 am. Only rural areas weekly mandis have been allowed to open. Sushil Chandra Tiwari, AIR News, Lucknow.
Under the Vande Bharat mission, 5 flights carrying Indian nationals are scheduled to arrive in Kerala today.
2 flights each from Kuala Lumpur and Dammam will be arriving in Kochi today late evening. 2 flights are also scheduled for arrival in Kannur Airport carrying stranded passengers from Kuwait and Doha. One more flight from Riyadh will be arriving in Kozhikode Airport today evening. A total of over 900 expatriates are expected to arrive in Kerala today. Meanwhile, the total active COVID-19 cases rose to 130 in the state. Strict surveillance is continuing as over 80% of the cases are returnees from abroad and other states. Meanwhile, due to Amphan cyclone, heavy rain continues in major parts of the state. Yellow alert is issued in 9 districts of the state. Mayusha for AIR News from Thiruvananthapuram.
In Maharashtra, 3 migrant labourers and a bus driver were killed and 22 others injured after the vehicle hit a stationary truck in Yavatmal district in the early hours of today. The labourers were supposed to board a Shramik special train from Nagpur to reach their native places in Jharkhand, while in another mishap, a travel bus carrying 30 labourers from Solapur to Aurangabad in Bihar overturned near Nanded, in which 1 passenger was killed and 28 others were injured. On the positive side, to address the COVID-19 crisis, the Maharashtra government has decided to provide food grains to 308,44,076 orange card holders at subsidized rates of 5 kilograms per person for May and June. The food grains mainly include wheat and rice. The distribution of these grains has started from 24th April 2020 and till now 6,91,960 quintals of grains has been distributed. Also, action has been taken against shopkeepers who sell at inflated rates due to scarcity. More in this report from our Mumbai correspondent.
In Maharashtra, amidst the gloomy situation of COVID-19 pandemic, the state government has begun distribution of food grains from 52,424 ration shops in the state. Maharashtra Food, Civil Supplies and Consumer Protection Minister Chhagan Bhujbal has informed that 48,53,935 quintals of food grains have been distributed to around 1,24,95,852 ration card holders in the state till May 2020. Under Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana, a total of 51,02,470 ration cards have been distributed free rice since May 4. Under Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana, 11,25,520 quintals of rice has been distributed to 2,25,10,447 population on ration cards, while about 14,097 quintals of pulses have been distributed under this scheme. Nivedita, AIR News, Mumbai.
In Madhya Pradesh, the number of COVID-19 cases in the state stood at 5,236 with 252 deaths. The notable fact is that a total of 2,435 people recovered from the viral infection so far.
The rate of doubling of cases in Madhya Pradesh improved from 3 days on 1st April to 14 days on 1st May. Currently, the doubling rate of cases stands at 17.2 days. Officials hoping that it will soon improve further to 20 days. On the other hand, the recovery rate stood at 19.03% on 1st May, which has improved to more than 46% on 18th May. Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan said that we have succeeded in controlling the viral infection in Madhya Pradesh to a great extent. Meanwhile, with 2,565 cases, Indore has accounts for nearly half of the total COVID-19 cases in the state. The latest death toll in Indore district stands at 103. Sanjeev Sharma, AIR News, Bhopal.
In Rajasthan, with 122 new persons tested positive for COVID-19 today, the total number of infected people in the state has gone up to 5,629. So far, 139 people have died due to the corona infection in the state. Our correspondent reports that after several relaxation announced under Lockdown 4.0, all kinds of shops and markets have been opened and business activities are to resume.
After the new guidelines for Lockdown 4.0, markets have opened in most of the cities of the state except the containment zones. Traffic on roads has also been increased. However, all the cities and panchayat samitis of 13 districts of the state have been declared as red zones. There are still be many types of restrictions. Transport Department has stepped up the exercise of starting public transport services within the state and for other states too. The resumption of work in big and small industries also has made the way for thousands of workers to get jobs. Jitendra Dwivedi, AIR News, Jaipur.
In Assam, 20 corona-positive cases have been reported in the state today. Health Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma informed that the number of active cases has gone up to 88, while 4 persons lost their lives. All the positive persons detected today have already been put in quarantine centres. A few sections of people like doctors and police are fighting COVID-19 from the front line, while some others are contributing to the fight against coronavirus through science and innovation. Sneha, a BSc Electronics student from Karimnagar district in Telangana, is one among them. She developed a COVID-19 smartwatch and social distance alert identity card, both of which will alert people from the spread of coronavirus. A report.
Sneha, a first-year BSc Electronics student from Karimnagar in Telangana, has developed 2 sensor-based wearable gadgets to alert people from coronavirus. The smartwatch will give a beep sound to alert the person who is wearing it when there is possible infection through hands by touching their mouth or eyes on their face. Another gadget developed by her, the social distancing identity card, will alert by ringing a beep sound when somebody comes close to the person who is wearing it.
If you don't wash your hands with the soap or sanitizer, when your hands are getting closer to the face, the alarm is rang. And next, social distance alert ID card. The two persons are coming closer in 1 meter distance. The alarm is rang.
Sneha is receiving appreciation from all quarters for her efforts in fight against COVID-19. With Sampath in Karimnagar, Lakshmi, AIR News.
World Health Organization WHO has said it will initiate an independent review into its handling of the coronavirus pandemic at the earliest appropriate moment. Speaking at the World Health Assembly, WHO Director General Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus said WHO is committed to transparency and will therefore facilitate an independent review of its response to the coronavirus outbreak. In a series Experts Speak on All India Radio, we bring you the views of leading medical experts on COVID-19. Talking to AIR News, senior physician from Safdarjung Hospital, New Delhi, Dr. M.K. Sen, said these are the testing times. He said the basic rules should be followed even during lockdown 4.0.
ये घड़ी एक परीक्षा की घड़ी है। ये वक्त हमें और भी अधिक मात्रा में संयम और सुरक्षा और अनुशासन ये चीजों का ध्यान में रखना है। जो लॉकडाउन के मूल मंत्र हैं, जैसे कि सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग हुआ या स्वच्छता, क्लीनलीनेस, यूज ऑफ मास्क, हैंड वॉशिंग, इसको हमें निरंतर इसका पालन हमें करते रहना होगा।
Indian actress Sonali Bendre has appealed to people to come together in the fight against COVID-19. The News Services Division of All India Radio in its live phone-in program Samvad today will bring you a special program on railways where listeners can ask questions related to passenger trains to the experts on toll-free telephone number 1-800-115-767. You can also ask questions on telephone number 011-2331-4444 and post queries on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts by hashtag AskAIR. This can be heard tonight on FM Gold channel and additional frequencies from 7:10 p.m. onwards. This program will also be available on our website newsonair.com and on our YouTube channel News on AIR Official. You can listen to us on the News on AIR app. The News Services Division of All India Radio in its bilingual live phone-in program tonight will bring you a special discussion program on COVID-19. Dr. Manoj Nisari, advisor Ayurved, Ministry of Ayush, will participate in the discussion. This can be heard tonight on FM Gold channel and additional frequencies from 9:25 p.m. onwards. Listeners can ask questions to the expert on toll-free telephone number 1-800-115-767. You can also ask questions on telephone number 011-2331-4444 and post queries on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts by hashtag AskAIR. In Bihar, 9 workers were killed and over a dozen injured in a road accident at Naugachia in Bhagalpur district of the state this morning. All those killed were travelling in the truck carrying iron pipes. The bus was carrying migrant workers, 14 of whom sustained minor injuries. The accident occurred on NH31 as the truck collided head-on with the bus coming from the opposite direction near Kharik. The truck fell into a ditch after hitting the bus. Chief Minister Nitish Kumar has announced an ex-gratia of 4 lakh rupees to the next of kin of the deceased workers. Mr. Kumar has offered free treatment to the injured workers. Now let us take a look at the weather for today. In the national capital, minimum temperature was 23 degrees Celsius while maximum temperature is expected to be 42 degrees Celsius. Delhi is likely to witness partly cloudy sky. Mumbai will witness partly cloudy sky as well. The minimum temperature in the city was 28 degrees Celsius, while maximum will remain around 34 degrees Celsius. In the south, Chennai will see a generally cloudy sky with light rain. The temperature will hover between 26 and 39 degrees Celsius. On to the north, in the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, minimum temperature was 22 degrees Celsius in Jammu, while maximum will be around 37 degrees Celsius. The city will remain partly cloudy, becoming generally cloudy towards afternoon or evening or night. In Srinagar, minimum temperature was 8 degrees Celsius, while maximum will be around 21 degrees Celsius. In Gilgit, temperature will hover between 13 and 24 degrees Celsius. Sky will remain partly cloudy. In Muzaffarabad, sky will remain partly cloudy, becoming generally cloudy. Towards afternoon or evening or night, it witnessed minimum temperature of 15 degrees Celsius, while maximum temperature will be around 31 degrees Celsius. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Super cyclone Amphan developing in Bay of Bengal, very likely to cross West Bengal and Bangladesh coasts tomorrow. NDRF teams deployed in coastal regions of West Bengal and Odisha for relief and rescue operations. Prime Minister Narendra Modi reviews response preparedness to deal with the storm. Home Minister Amit Shah offers centre's help to the affected states. Home Ministry asked states to coordinate with railways to ferry stranded migrant workers to their homes. Health Ministry issues guidelines to contain spread of COVID-19 in workplace. States and union territories announced guidelines for fourth phase of lockdown, several concessions allowed to boost economic activity. COVID-19 recovery rate reaches 38.73% in the country. ICMR scales up testing nationwide. And with that, we end the midday news.